This is the Gouf, the iconic blue mobile suit piloted by Ramba Ral. In the series, this was more of a stepping stone to Amuro just getting better as a pilot, but it left an impact with how cool the pilot was and just how much of a monster it was on the battlefield. Now, compared to the Zakus that we've seen beforehand in the series, instead of being green like the Zaku before it was, or red like the Commander type was, Ramba Ral went with a middle of the road by going blue. Completely different to anybody else. It stands just a little bit higher than the other Zakus, so even in scale it looks more imposing. Out of the box, this kit comes out in a beautiful shade of blue, with supporting bits of gray for the chest and the knees, with this lovely translucent orange for the cockpit. There's not really a lot of panel lining on this kit, like compared to the Bugu from a little bit ago, and even some of the Zakus. What it lacks in panel lining, one of my favorite bits of a kit when I have time to do panel lining, it makes up for with these large shoulder spikes. Somebody really looked at the Zaku and just went, yeah, make it hornier. The articulation on this kit is pretty good for the times, still having that mono eye that can be moved from the underside. It has a good grip once it's on the neck. The shoulders can pop out to do a nice little T-pose. The arms swing out into an almost 180 degree angle, so it's a good pump. Foot joint doesn't feel like it's gonna fly off, but in fact, you can turn the Gouf into a smooth criminal. That knee is pretty serviceable, you just gotta watch for the waist armor. I had it pop off a couple times while I was recording. But overall, pretty great for articulation. When it comes to combat, this kit comes with a couple of options for both close and medium range encounters. The chief among them being this giant heat sword, which has this lovely translucent orange going for it, which fits nicely into the shield underneath. I didn't seem to have any problems with putting it back in, but getting it out can be a tricky butch. I'm not sure why they did it either, because I only see it with one sword in the show, but hey, they gave you two.
I gotta tell you, this is pretty terrific.
When it comes to holding the sword, there are actually a couple of little pegs that will let the sword get a better grip when it's holding in. I think that it works better on the big hand. The little hand is a little, I'm going to use that as a jumping off point to talk about the hands real quick. On the left side, you've got the big cannon hand. You've got the top one that kind of makes it look like you're getting ready to fire. The thumb is articulate on the side of that one.
Wow, beautiful, wow.
But for the big hand, it also has a closed version for holding the sword, but also just jorking it, man, just straight jorking it. On both sides, there's an open fist that lets you hold other items. But it also has closed fists as well, which is something that I wasn't expecting for this revive. Having those closed fists is a really nice addition to have. One of the most iconic attacks in the original series was this Cadle attack, which disabled the Gundam. It attaches pretty well into this peg on the side of the right arm, and it has a peg on the side of the cable, so you can get a closed fist around it and hold it up pretty well. Keeps it very sturdy. The cable also has a nice little bit of bend, but I've noticed that it kind of stretches back to its original position. The shield has a couple of options for being attached, either through this peg on the underside of each arm, or being held in the big hand through this handle. Doesn't really work as well with the smaller hand. You can also use this little hole in the backpack so that it can be stored without having to worry about where it's going. There aren't that many stickers for this kit either, so if you're looking to add a little bit of extra flair to it, I'd pick up like a sticker sheet for Xeon or something just to give it that little extra oomph. Overall, I'd say that this is an amazing kit. It brings a lot of color to your shelf, or just gives that vibrant bloom to the photography you could be doing. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See ya.